Hello, everyone, and welcome to our group presentation. Today, we are acting as consultant advising Lululemon Athletica, a Canadian-based global apparel company, on a serious workplace issue affecting both their internal culture and public reputation. Our analysis will focus on a real incident which involves allegations of discrimination and toxic workplace culture. These allegations were reported in the Canadian media. These events have sparked national conversation about diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is DEI in the workplace, and they highlight the need for long-term change at Lululemon. We will explore the organizational context, key issues, and offer a recommendation to help Lululemon rebuild trust and become a more inclusive employer.
Lululemon Athletica Inc. was founded in 1988 in Vancouver, British Columbia. It has grown into a global leader in athletical apparel with over 30,000 employees and more than 650 retail locations worldwide. The brand is best known for its yoga wear, premium pricing, and wellness-focused identity. Lululemon markets itself as a lifestyle brand promoting mindfulness, physical health, and community connections. Its strategic goals include expanding international markets, embracing innovation, and fostering a values-driven culture. Despite its positive marketing aspects, Lululemon has faced criticism for not practicing what it advertises, especially regarding equity, diversity, and inclusion. While the company has implemented DEI training and pledged cultural reform, recent controversies suggest that systemic issues remain deeply rooted within its organizational structure.
In 2023, Lululemon was in major headlines when several employees publicly accused the company of racial discrimination, microaggressions, and retaliation against the employees for speaking out against their concerns. One high-profile incident involved employees being fired after raising concerns about racist comments made by the customer, which triggered national backlash and damaged the brand's DEI credibility. The key HRM issues include a lack of representation in leadership despite having a diverse workplace, as well as inadequate communication and feedback channels for reporting discrimination safely. Additionally, we have inaccurate DEI initiatives that lack long-term strategy for employees. And lastly, there are cultural inconsistencies where values promoted externally do not align with internal practices. These issues not only impact employee morale and retention, but also threaten the company's brand loyalty and long-term success.
To resolve these issues, our group came up with 3 different recommendations to help guide the company towards long-term success and an improved future. The first recommendation by our group focuses on diversity practices. After Lululemon received backlash from its discriminatory language and issues with internal culture, they will need to rebuild trust by committing a large diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy. One of the first steps would be appointing a Chief Diversity Officer, or CDO, who reports directly to the CEO. The CDO's role would be to be responsible for leading meaningful change. This includes improving hiring processes, revising internal policies, and reshaping company culture to be more inclusive. While this is an effective resolution, we also feel that Lululemon should have a dedicated DEI team that tracks progress, gathers data, and keeps everything transparent. This is to ensure that the resolution is both sustainable and effective over the long term. Another important part of the solution is training. To build on the anti-racism and unconscious bias training, Lululemon could also implement broader diversity training for employees. This would help raise awareness around cultural differences as well as give employees the tools to interact more respectfully and effectively with others from different backgrounds. It's not just about improving internally. This, in theory, could help employees connect better with customers from diverse communities, which is something Lululemon struggled with in the past.
Our second recommendation is about communication and feedback systems. Based on the articles, it seems as though Lululemon does not have a safe or reliable way for employees to report discrimination and/or workplace issue without the fear of backlash. We are suggesting an anonymous reporting platform monitored by a third party. This model would make it safer for employees to speak up and would show that Lululemon is serious about accountability, and it would reinforce the values Lululemon upholds. One model we suggest that Lululemon does is by setting up an abounds office where complaints can be handled naturally and confidentially. Another option is to send out regular workplace climate surveys to check in on how employees are feeling and whether any patterns of discrimination or exclusions are emerging. This option would help catch the disputes faster and find a resolution early in the stages. This allows for more meaningful responses to any problems that may come up later.
A third recommendation is to improve representation in leadership. Even though Lululemon has a diverse workforce and customer base, that diversity isn't really reflected in its leadership. So we think the company should set measurable goals for increasing diversity in leadership roles and review how promotions work to make sure the process is fair and transparent. They should also try creating mentorship programs that support underrepresented employees and to help them advance in the company. Offering diversity network groups can also help build a sense of belonging by connecting employees with shared identities and experiences. Lululemon should also make sure that speaking speaking up about discrimination doesn't hold employees back. One unbiased way to check this theory is by comparing promotion data with reports from the Ombuds office or the client surveys. If there's a trend where people who raise concerns don't get promoted, that raises a serious concern.
In summary, these recommendations are meant to work together rather than be a solution for individual cases. It's not just about fixing one part of the system, but keeping real, lasting changes across the company. By investing in DEI leadership, building better communication systems, and supporting diversity in leadership, this is a chance for Lululemon to regain trust, fix its reputation, and create a workplace where everyone feels included.
To evaluate the effectiveness of our proposed DEI strategy, we examined a set of peer-reviewed studies that identify what drives meaningful diversity outcomes in organizations. To begin, our first recommendation to establish a strong DEI structurally by a chief diversity officer is grounded in leading research. The article Best Practice or Best Guesses analyzes over 800 companies and found that diversity training alone has limited impact. The most effective outcomes came from organizations that implemented dedicated roles, such as diversity managers, with real authority and accountability. This insight affirms that Lululemon's DEI efforts must go beyond service-level initiatives and be structurally embedded into leadership. Building on that, designing more effective practices for reducing workplace inequity reinforce these views. It shows that forming new diversity-focused teams, not just reproposing existing structures, can directly increase representation, particularly for women and racialized groups. This is why we recommend not only hiring a CDO, but also supporting that role with a cross-functional DEI task force empowered to track progress and influence decisions at the highest level.
Moving to culture and accountability. These are two areas that research shows are vital for meaningful, lasting change. According to the benefits of climate for inclusion for gender diverse groups, organizations that build genuinely inclusive climates see stronger employee engagement and lower turnover. Inclusion is not just a value, it's a business asset. Lululemon can't rebuild trust without addressing both structural and cultural change, and the CDO will play a critical role in leading that shift. At the same time, strengthening accountability for discrimination makes a clear case for anonymous reporting systems like Ombuds Office. These tools don't just give an employee's voice, they generate actionable insights. For example, if climate surveys had been in place, it's likely that the issues in the Chicago Southside store could have been detected early, allowing for faster intervention and reputational risk mitigation.
Our final area of focus is leadership representation, specifically how to ensure fair advancement and belonging across the organization. The article What About Me emphasizes that multicultural approaches, those that explicitly acknowledge and value differences, are more effective than colorblind policies. Lululemon has an opportunity to lead by embedding this philosophy into its leadership pipeline. Transparent rewards and fair promotion processes are key. The article Accounting for the Gap found that pay transparency significantly reduced disparities, especially for women and racial minorities. Similarly, Diversity Networks, Networking for Equality, illustrates that internal support systems not only improve employee well-being, but also increase access to leadership roles. That's why we recommend Lululemon establish mentorship and affinity groups, backed by data and strategic oversight, to ensure underrepresented employees are supported and seen. Together, this research supports a three-tiered strategy: structure, culture, representation. This approach is not only evidence-based, it positions Lululemon to proactively rebuild credibility, foster a more inclusive workplace, and future-proof its talent strategy.
As we look toward the future of human capital management, one emerging trend Lululemon must proactively engage with is the integration of artificial intelligence in hiring and performance evaluation processes. AI presents a compelling opportunity to enhance efficiency, reduce human bias, and support data-driven decision-making. However, without intentional safeguards, AI can also reinforce existing inequalities, particularly when trained on incomplete or non-representative data. For an organization like Lululemon, which is actively working to rebuild its reputation around equity and inclusion, the response adoption of AI is both a strategic, impactive, and a reputational risk.
To lead in this space, we recommend that Lululemon pilot a bias-aware AI platform in corporate and mid-level recruitment and promotion. This system should be designed using inclusive data sets that reflect anti-discrimination law and capture a diverse range of candidate profiles. Equally important as governance, we advise forming a cross-functional oversight committee comprised of HR, legal, and IT representatives to monitor implementation. Their mandate would be to ensure compliance, maintain ethical standards, and establish internal transparency, proactively informing employees about AI's role in decision-making processes, such as applications, screening, or performance metrics, which will be essential in building organizational trust.
We also caution that AI, while powerful, is not immune to risk. Algorithms, regardless of intent, can replicate or even amplify bias, if not rigorously audited. For that reason, human oversight must remain central at every phase, from development and training to final review of hiring or promotion outcomes. Additionally, digital accessibility must not be overlooked. AI tools must be inclusive by design. If candidates face usability barriers, whether due to language, neurodiversity, or limited digital fluency, they risk being excluded from opportunity. To address this, we recommend user testing across diverse populations and offering alternative, human-led application or evaluation pathways to preserve fairness. With intentional design and ethical oversight, inclusive AI can become a cornerstone of Lululemon's long-term DEI strategy. strategy, enhancing consistency, reducing subjective bias, and reinforcing fairness across talent systems.
This includes the ends of our presentation. Feel free to pause and look at our references. Thank you for watching.